Can you hear shouting in the background? The little dog's fucking... The little puppy. The little puppy's probably had its shit in the living room. Shouting going on downstairs. Alright, look. Oh, welcome to the Battle Camp. My name is Rahul. Pleased to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk some MMA. Bit of sad news, really, isn't it? Sad because of all of the fights that were announced over the last kind of end of last year, beginning of this year, the one fight that I was looking forward to the most, the one fight that titillated me the most was Leon Edwards against Khamzat. We thought it was going to be third time lucky, but unfortunately that isn't the case. Khamzat hasn't recovered from COVID. He smashes humans, but he can't smash COVID. Look, jokes aside, obviously this is a serious illness. It's not just a virus or just the flu. Like, I was listening to Joe Rogan just last night / this morning, and Cody Garbrandt was talking about his battle with COVID and the effects it had on him and how long he was suffering from those symptoms of COVID. So look, man, Khamzat has met his match for now anyway, but I'm sure he will make a full recovery. It's a shame. Like I said, it's the fight that I've been looking forward to the most. And when the announcement came that Khamzat is out of this fight, immediately Leon Edwards tweeted out to Nate Diaz, let's have it. Oh, what did I do there? Immediately Leon Edwards tweeted out to Nate Diaz, and that's a fight that I can understand why he's calling it out. I think he called out Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz and Colby Covington. The thing that kind of interested me is Dana White basically coming out and saying that the fight or the replacement they're looking at for this fight is Colby Covington. It's funny, and I'll tell you why it's funny, because literally just a couple of months ago, Leon Edwards was removed from the rankings. He was removed from the rankings, I believe, for being offered a fight against Stephen Thompson, and Leon Edwards turned it down at the time. And what's funny is Dana White, during the pre-fight press conference that he did in the build-up to UFC 258, he basically said Leon Edwards has been taking fight after fight. He's a stud. He deserves rewarding for all of the fights that he's accepted. But he has accepted fight after fight after fight, and a lot of the time he's been fighting people that are behind him in the rankings. And it's only now that you recognise that he's been putting in that work. He's been putting in that work, because it's only now you say, oh, he accepts fight after fight. But you guys are the ones that removed him from the rankings for wanting to fight someone that's above him in the rankings or a title shot. I found that funny. It's ironic. It's a bit DJ ironic. But look, Colby Covington, what are the chances? So during the same pre-fight press conference, Dana White was asked by Oscar Willis about whether, if it is going to be Colby Covington, when, because surely it won't be on March 13, because that's just a month away. Dana White seems to think that there's potential that the replacement fight, Colby Covington against Leon Edwards, could happen in March 13 on the same card. Personally, I don't know. He did say actually that the fight would be a number one contender fight. So the winner of that fight would go on and face the winner of Usman and Gilbert Burns. I have my reservations about whether Colby Covington would be willing to take that fight. He seems to have his eyes set on a Jorge Masvidal fight. This Jorge Masvidal fight, I spoke about this in the previous video. Like, if both parties wanted the fight, like, why hasn't it been made? It should have been made by now. There's like there's no hold up. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Nate Diaz calling out Dustin Poirier about at 170. Like, in terms of the progression of the division in the UFC's eyes, there's no reason why that fight shouldn't happen. Jorge Masvidal's just lost a fight against Kamaru Usman. Colby Covington recently lost a fight against Kamaru Usman. They're both consensus top 5 welterweights. If they both wanted the fight, why hasn't it happened? Why haven't they been able to make it yet? I have a suspicion that Jorge Masvidal potentially isn't playing ball, isn't actually accepting whatever the UFC are offering for that fight, which is why Dana White is now saying Colby Covington against Leon Edwards. But let's focus on Leon Edwards because he deserves a big fight now. Like, he's the one that agreed to take on the boogeyman of the division. Like, he deserves the credit for that. Even though the fight hasn't happened, he stepped up. Do you know what I mean? He stepped up for that fight. So he deserves the reward, and I'm glad Dana White basically said the same thing. I'm glad Dana White said that he deserves to be rewarded with a big fight. I just don't know whether anyone's going to be willing to take it. And if people don't actually take this fight, if people don't step up and take this fight, does that mean, you know what, by default, Leon Edwards, you get the title shot? You're the one who's saying you want to fight Colby Covington. You're the one who's saying that you want to fight Jorge Masvidal. You're the one who said that you're willing to fight Khamzat. If none of these guys, obviously apart from Khamzat because he agreed to it, but if Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington don't want to step up and fight you, then fine. You go ahead and fight Kamaru Usman for the title. Because we can't force people to fight you. And if these guys don't want to fight you in what would potentially be a #1 contender fight, then you go ahead and fight for the belt. There's a lot of talk about potentially Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal being the coaches on the new TUF series. And obviously, this new TUF series is quite important for the UFC because it's like a new season. They've been on a hiatus. They're rebranding it. It's going to be on one of these probably ESPN type channels. I don't know where it's going to be, to be honest. I'm not really a watcher of TUF anymore. I watched the first 10, 15 seasons or whatever it is. I've kind of gone off it now. But yeah, I think the UFC kind of put unnecessary pressure. When I say the UFC, Dana White kind of put unnecessary pressure on that TUF season because the way he talked it up, how explosive it's going to be, you know, oh, you guys are going to see the difference. It's going to be so huge. It's going to be massive. Talking up who the coaches might be. Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, they're both the ideal coaches for that TUF series, just because of the back history, the animosity, the fact that they actually used to train together in the same team. There's so much to explore when it comes to their own backstory. But if you can't agree a fight between the two of them, then you can't have them as TUF coaches. And it feels like the UFC are looking to pivot away from that fight because, like I said previously, like I've said in this video, if everybody was up for it, that fight on paper seems so easy to book. So there you have it. I personally, my opinion, I don't know whether Colby Covington's going to step up and fight Leon Edwards in March on 1 month's notice. I feel like Colby Covington is he's got his heart set on a fight against Jorge Masvidal, and I feel like just skill wise, I feel like Colby Covington probably feels like a Jorge Masvidal fight is, you can see more ways to beat Jorge Masvidal as opposed to Leon Edwards. So I'd be very surprised if Colby Covington steps up and fights Leon Edwards. If Leon Edwards wants to stay busy, I don't know whether it's possible for this fight to happen on that same date, March 13. But a fight against someone like Chiesa, I mean, that is something that is quite viable. It's an opportunity for Chiesa, and Leon Edwards can keep busy. And I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion that Leon Edwards would beat Chiesa, but, you know, it's a guy that's kind of, although it's below in the rankings, Leon Edwards needs to fight. Do you know what I mean? It's been over a year since he's had a fight, so he needs to stay busy. He needs to get match fit again, you know? But it's a shame. Like I said, like I started this video, this is the fight that I've been looking forward to the most when it came to all of the fights that were announced, even more than Jan Blachowicz and Israel Adesanya. Hopefully, whichever, it's not just because of Leon and Khamzat. Like, if Khamzat gets a big name now, I'd be looking forward to it because there's so much we don't know about Khamzat. We've seen him look good against opponents that aren't top level fighters in the welterweight division. Let's see what he does against the top fighter. And that's what really excited me about the fight. And the fact that obviously Leon Edwards is one of us, he's English, that obviously makes me want to see him succeed in the UFC. But anyway, sad but interesting. Let's see how things progress in that division. What do you guys think? Let me know below. Who do you think Leon Edwards should fight next? Do you think that some people seem to think that Leon Edwards don't even deserve a fight against someone like Colby Covington? What do you think? Who do you think Leon Edwards should fight next? Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this with a friend if you've enjoyed it. Also, I upload all of these videos on podcast platforms, on Spotify to iTunes and everything in between. So if you listen to podcasts, subscribe to this on your favorite podcast platform underneath in the description. I'll catch you guys later.